Would you buy it?
Probably not. I don't like the XO type slides that Sig does. I like the traditional slides, just because holsters are a lot easier to find for the traditional. There are definitely more coming out for the XO type of slides, but that's not me. So
Interesting. What do you think about that price?
pretty decent. Yeah.
This is Bryan Hood. We're at Gunnies gun store, Orem, Utah. Longtime associate, friend of the Nut and Fancy project. Yep. He is the best gun clerk I've ever seen in my life. What do we have here, dude?
Okay, we have a Wasr-10 here. Before any of you guys sit there and grumble and groan, this is one of the newer Wasrs that's coming from Century. As far as we're aware of, this is one of the ones that is not an old parts kit that has just been remade. This is a almost 100% brand new firearm from what we can see. New trunnions, new handguards, buttstock, everything on it looks new. I mean, there's not really anywhere. Still coming from the sugar plant in Romania. I probably pronounced that wrong. I don't know Romanian. But anytime you see the CUGIR, that's like one of the main plants in Romania. And generally with that too, that always means you have a chrome lined barrel. With the older ones, that one is chrome lined as well, so you're still good there. So that's a good thing. You know, something Century's doing, we sell lots of these, especially at the the new back normal again price, because during the craze these guns were going for $800-900 for a Wasr, and that's kind of hard to swallow for some people for a Wasr.
Post Sandy Hook.
Yep. But no, $800 kind of ridiculous. $550 is pretty reasonable for a good AK. Very good gun, lasts you quite a while. So
that's a great deal.
Yeah, it's good to see.
New manufacturer AK variant.
It's good to see these. And because the market is super saturated, you have rows and rows of guns again. More than you really know what to do with. And
let me come back there, Bryan, so I can hear you better. Yeah, your inventory's good.
Yeah,
you got a lot going.
So you've got everything: AKs, 308 ARs, M1As, some Ruger, Mini 14s in the back. This is like we don't know what to do with row. We have most of our SIGs, but then there's Rugers, more Civics, Bushmasters, CMGs, other crap that just conglomerates on this row.
How's that selling? The Bushmaster.
We only have 2 left. I think at one point we had like 20 some odd of those guns, and Bushmaster screwed the pooch by having MSRP way too high on them when they first were out. I want to say the enhanced was like $3,600 MSRP, and the basic was like $3,100. And I mean, a lot of people have a hard time paying that price for guns when Bushmaster doesn't even send out the different barrel lengths that they said they're going to do, different caliber conversions that they said they were going to do.
And it really operationally doesnn't do anything an M4 or AR-15
no,
M16
I mean,
does.
You do have the forward charging handle that's non-reciprocating, unlike the Scars, which is cool. You can reverse it to the other side. But other than that, I mean, it was just kind of, overpriced, undervalued for a lot of the stuff. I like the design, but it's just, I'm not going to pay $2,600 for something that I still have to go and change stuff around. I'd rather go buy just a standard AR and roll with that. But that leads us to the Sig 556, their new Excise series of guns that are trying to do what Bushmaster attempted to do. They're supposed to come out with different barrel lengths of these, different caliber conversion kits. They're supposed to do an AK one 7.62x39, have a lower receiver that will take AK mags. That way you're not, you can use the same mags if you already have them. The serial number is on the upper receiver there. So just like the old ones were too, but that means that your lowers, you can sit there and switch out no problem. You don't have to worry about, if you want to have that AK, buy 2 lowers, you're not buying 2 serialized parts. It's all just in the upper receiver. So they kind of thinned down the barrels a little bit. They changed up the handguards. They went with a really light weight handguard instead of the old heavy ones that are on there, but it is still a piston gun, and so it is pretty heavy on there. Charging handles on this guy are reversible. You will pull this guy down and out, and you can put it over on the left hand side. So if you want to run it, you know, more like a Scar. Or,
That's easy to swap too, isn't it?
Very easy to swap. So you can swap it around, or if you wanted to run it traditional like an AK, you can leave it on the right hand side. It's very, very fast and easy to sit here and swap it over. You do have to take out the charging handle though if you are to disassemble the gun, because the bolt won't come back, you know, with that in place. So just don't lose your charging handle, because then you're stuck with a flathead screwdriver. So
okay, so we're going to get into some scenarios, which I think you guys will find interesting as we come to the end of this video, maybe midpoint. Maybe we'll see that gun again.
Yeah, maybe.
And at that point, tell your opinions. Tell,
cool.
Hey, this is good.
Tell us how you really feel.
You always tell us how you really feel.
Okay.
That's what we like about you, Bryan. Hit it.
Okay. Next, just something new that Daniel Defense is doing. They're doing these models, what they call the Mil-Spec Plus Cerakote that they're doing on them. So they're painting the upper, lower, and the handguards in the Cerakote here, and then they're laser etching back over the top of it for the white parts. So that just kind of shows you the attention to detail they do, because some companies will just paint right over the top and they won't put anything else back in there, but they just do that. They offer it in the V7 that you see here. They're doing it in the M4A1, which is this guy here. So if you look, you'll see that the color closely matches the anodizing that is found on their RIS-2 handguards that are out there.
Really a great color.
Very.
And like you say, the finish on this is superb.
Yep. They're doing on this, and they're also doing on the Mark 18s as well. They're SBRs, and I believe they're doing on the V5 lightweights as well. But yeah, that's these guys. They're also doing a new tornado color, which is kind of like a light gray. We didn't order any of those just because I don't see light gray as a very big, you know, selling color versus the flat dark earth that they do in this. Well, Mil-Spec Plus technically, it's kind of more of a brown. But yeah, this is a little bit more universal of a color.
M4 profile barrel on those DDs,
M4.
right?
So you have a slightly lighter weight underneath the handguard, but from the gas block forward, you're going to have a standard profile on the barrel there.
I think the world of DD, I think they're awesome.
Yep.
Really great ARs.
Yep. New for this year, they came out with the Mark 12 as well. They kind of wanted to capitalize on the Lone Survivor movie with how big Mark 12's got with that movie. It's not a real Mark 12. You know, it's pretty much all it has in common is the name and the barrel length. Other than that, there's really nothing truly Mark 12 on here like a Mod O, Mod 1, or Mod H. But still a good gun. One of the first companies to do a cold hammer forged stainless steel barrel. That's pretty unique versus everyone else's cold hammer forged barrels are just chromoly steel. So that's pretty cool to see that. Geisy trigger, a couple other just things, but the thing that makes this gun's the barrel.
How do they blacken that, do you know?
I want to say with these guys it's just a black oxide finish. You can see it's not the strongest. It's starting to wear a little bit right there. So it's because you can't, you know, blue stainless. So I'm pretty sure it's just like a black oxide or something like that.
If you want to sell them online, there's a local option.
And so to round out the tan here, we've got Rock River here. This is their part of their new X1 rifles that they're doing. Kind of just what's up with this is they have the
Competition rifle, right?
Yeah, competition rifles.
We'll go this way so you can hear you better. There you go.
Competition rifles. So it's kind of like the standard lower. They're doing their same two-stage trigger, pogue grip on their operator stock. But what they're doing differently with the barrels is that they're, you know, this is an 18-inch mid-length that they're running. Stainless steel fluted, so you're going to have a 1 in 8 twist, 223 wild chambering on here with their new comps on here. So they're kind of crazy, funky looking. Probably not the most effective with how small all the ports and stuff are.
18 barrel, right?
Yep.
Mid-length, you say?
18 mid-length.
That's a sweet gun right there, my friends.
But this would be a, you know, good for someone who wants to reach out there, touch something a little bit farther, or, you know, want to start shooting competitively. Not a bad gun. I see a lot of people using Rock Rivers for competitive shooting and stuff because they're kind of not like more of a turnkey, easy 3-gun type rifle instead of going out there spending the big bucks on, say, some of the higher, more boutique type guns. So
Now, long range to you is 75 yards. Have you changed in that at all?
maybe 60 sometimes. It really depends on the wind and stuff. All right.
Okay, sorry, it's gun store, guys. So this stuff goes on. I can't control it. I don't even try anymore. How about bolt guns, dude? Anything you want to talk here?
Yeah, we'll start over here. Bolt guns right now.
It's the Bryan Hood show.
Da, 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 da. I mean, you got the same old stuff. It's not, your bolt guns just get kind of, what companies do is they just sit there and take the same gun and they just put new stocks or new little accessories, doodads on there and make it a brand new
finishes.
gun again. Yeah. So
That's probably your favorite right there, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it definitely is. I've got that in 204 Ruger.
Strapped to your moped.
Yep. I don't handle
204
recoil.
Ruger.
I don't handle recoil very well, so that's why I like the Ruger. Okay. You know, they do, you know, they do some nice packages here where they do heavy barrel 20 inches fluted. Yep. Fluting's more for the looks, you know, so they can charge a little extra money for it. If you want to sit there and debate me on fluting, I really don't care. What's kind of cool is Mossberg. They're doing their MVP rifles, which we've touched before on the cheese grater shoot, and the 223s. Well, now they're doing 308s. What's kind of neat about these guys is the magazines. This rifle will take both DPMS pattern AR-10 mags, so that's your P mags, and it will also take M1A pattern mags. So if you already have an M1A or you have an AR-10, you could have a bolt gun that rocks the same magazine, so you're not spending, you know, extra money on an $80 AICS type magazine.
Makes me wonder if it's really reliable, though. It sounds great on paper.
It sounds great, and from what we've seen so far, they've been fine. But the thing to watch out for them is whenever you have a bolt gun that takes AICS type magazines, you know, they may be slightly double stacked, but for the most part, they're single feed, so the bolt's right in the middle. So you have a big round lug in order to grab that and pull it up, so you're good. These guys, they just put two little nubbins on here on the bottom to sit there and pick up that whole round. So you just got to make sure that these guys don't ever kind of get knocked out, like hit, you know, filed down, whatever. Because once those nubbins go away, your feeding goes away. So that's just the thing to watch out for with this is, in order for it to pick up both rounds on here, those have to be prominent. So,
how's the weight on that? Usually those laminated are going to be heavier.
Yeah, this is laminated. It's a little bit heavier. I would say probably, this is like eight or so pounds on this guy. The thing is with Mossberg, all their stocks are actually wood. That one's synthetic, I think. I still can't figure it out. But even their Patrol 308, that's still just a wood that they painted black. They don't do any synthetic stock, so you're going to have a little bit more weight on the gun.
Cost savings.
Because of that.
I guess. I don't think Palmer's that, you know, expensive. If you look at a Savage Axis, Ruger American, those don't
cheap.
They cost 20 cents a piece to produce.
Yeah, it's super cheap to make these. So
kidding, but they're cheap.
Interesting why they do wood, but so that's that. You guys probably are aware of Remington 700. If you're not aware, you are now. All the 700s made between such and such date, I believe 2006, and like it was either May or June of this year, 2014. They got recalled, the Exmark Pro triggers, because of a thread locker issue on some of the screws. So we only have 3 models of 700s here. One because this is pre-Exmark Pro trigger. This has an Exmark trigger on it. This has a 40X trigger. This is an Exmark Pro trigger that's been fixed already and started to come back. Okay. So, but that's it.
That's why you got no 700s.
That's why I have no 700s.
Dude, I'm looking over there. Are those KSGs on the top?
Those are KSGs.
Can I show those real quick?
Let's go show those.
Fly by. KSGs do exist in real life. What? This must be a freaking... Are you still on the site with it?
Yeah, they're comboed right now. So they come with an EOTech and a little laser on the front of it. So, so that's the tan, obviously.
Nice.
And then
that one's even cool.
You got a dark bronze there.
That's like that metallic dark bronze, isn't it?
So you got
Durcoat has a color like that.
Kind of a almost like a gold flake built into it. So it's kind of cool, especially when the light hits it.
Did you spray paint that at your house with Krylon? Or is that
Rust-Oleum? I don't even touch Krylon. It's all Rust-Oleum, all right?
All right, dude. Doing a great job as usual. We're going to transition to our scenarios. Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay, so TMPers are going to dig this. Okay, coming to the counter. I'm a female. I have no gun experience. I had an incident in my life that scared the heck out of me. I've researched it. I've done a lot of thinking about it, and I'm ready to start carrying a gun. I've got my permit.
Okay.
I need your advice. I have little to no gun experience. I was raised in a gun family, a hunting family. That's about it.
Rifles, you know rifles, but not pistols, really.
So in this particular scenario, it's just a concealed carry pistol for a female with very little gun experience. Help me out.
All right.
Take it away. Give me your, whatever you think, Brian. You want 5 choices, 10 choices, I don't care. The guys are going to love it no matter what you do.
So one of the first things that I like to show is generally the revolvers, and it depends whether or not you like pink. I won't show the pink. We'll show just the all black.
Pink is fine. I mean, we're going to stick to the scenario. I don't have no issue.
Well, if it's anything like my wife,
I love pink. It's
she
awesome.
hates pink.
Really?
The only thing she likes pink on is like sleepwear and stuff like that. If it's on guns, if it's
and your underwear.
And my underwear, yes. If it's on guns, if it's on cars, anything like that, clothes, she generally hates it. Yeah, she's not a girl.
It's polarizing like some.
Yep.
Okay.
So Ruger LCR, really like those. Also never really other popular one.
And I'm going to play role. So I'm going to ask questions that perhaps she would ask, okay?
Cool. The Smith & Wesson Model 642s. We won't look at the bodyguard on that guy. Don't really care for him. And then, we know you don't necessarily care for.
And talk to me just like I'm her. Ask me questions like you would ask her.
Another thing very popular one would be your 380s. All right. Right now, what's really popular is the Glock 42. The thing we'd have to watch out for when it comes to semi-autos is just there's a little bit more of know-how on how to use them. You have a lot more stuff going on. You have a magazine, you have a slide that has to reciprocate, versus the revolvers, as long as you have it loaded and the cylinder's closed, generally you can pull the trigger and you don't have to worry about it. So that's just kind of the nice thing with this. The downside of revolvers, if you don't hit what you're shooting at in those 5 rounds, now comes the really difficult part is the reload. Whether you have a speed clip on you or if you just have loose rounds and stuff. So that's just the problem when it comes with revolvers over semi-autos. They're simpler to operate. Yes?
My boyfriend was my boyfriend. I'll skip the voice. My boyfriend was a Marine, and he served a tour in Iraq, and he said I absolutely should get a gun with a safety. Is that true?
It varies on what you're safe and comfortable with.
I don't even know what a safety is.
Okay.
Should I have a gun with it? Am I safer to have a safety on my gun?
Yes and no. So if you want to, you can have that extra safety, but some of the guns that they put safeties on don't technically need them. They do it to make people feel good about it. So
does this gun have a safety on it?
It doesn't have a physical safety you take off besides the 3 internal safeties that take off when you sit there and pull the trigger. So this gun's completely safe just as is, as long as your finger's not on the trigger.
And it won't go off in my purse.
No, as long as nothing touches that trigger, you should be fine. So versus with the revolver, the safety on these guns for the most part are just the long trigger pull that's on there. So if you just make sure if whatever you're doing when you're carrying that nothing gets inside that trigger guard. If something gets inside the trigger guard, all bets are off. So you never know if a lipstick or eyeliner pen or something gets in there and starts jamming, and then it just sits there and starts pulling the trigger, especially when you don't want it to. Cool thing with revolvers inside purses is that you generally can pull the trigger inside your purse. If you're not comfortable, if you're not aware of the situation, what's going on, but you still want to be kind of safe, feel a little bit better, you can have your hand on your gun, finger off the trigger, and if something does happen, then you could shoot through your purse if you needed to. You can do that with 1 round with a semi-auto.
How many bullets is this carrying? Is that important for me?
Yes, it is important. These guys hold 5 rounds, and most of your smaller concealed carry guns only hold about 6 or so. 5 rounds seems like enough, but I'll tell you in a stressful situation, it may not be enough. Most trained police officers have a hard time hitting about 12 to 15% of the time.
Out of roll, this is me. I will vouch. Back and roll.
Okay, yep. So it's, no matter what gun you get, you definitely need to train with it. It's not a gun where you just buy it, throw it in your purse, and you think, this is my lifetime insurance policy. You have to take out your gun. You need to take it out at least once a month to stay proficient with it.
Now, my boyfriend, he watches this clown. This dude on YouTube, his name's nutnfancy, and he says if you get anything less than a 9mm, you're an idiot. Is that correct?
10 years or so ago, sure. With modern ammunition the way it is, you can get some pretty potent ammo and stuff other than, 9 and 40 and stuff like that. Look at police departments, how they're...
I told him he should stop watching that guy. He doesn't listen.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
No.
You look at police departments, how so many are switching over from 40s to 9s for price of ammo, how much better the ammo performs nowadays, and stuff like that. So, I mean, that same technology that went into the 9s is also going into the 380s, and it's going into the 38 specials as well. So perfectly...
Okay, so these will do the job at stopping the bad guy.
Yes, with the right ammo. Now, if you're shooting, a short 2-inch barrel like these guys here, you need to make sure that you're using the short barrel load ammo. You're not using just standard 38 specials out of there.
You can help me out with that because I don't know anything about ammo.
So you just have to make sure that you're matching this upright. So,
are these your top 3? Any others you'd recommend?
The SIGs, these are very, very popular as well. This is the 238. They do this in a 938 as well. Excellent gun. The only thing to know with this guy,
I'm training to stay and roll in here because I love this gun so much. But I'm going to stay and roll and pretend like I don't know anything about it.
So what I like to say is that since this gun is like a mini 1911, you have to make sure that gun, it's designed to be operated like a 1911. So you have to have, technically, hammer back, thumb safety on. All right.
And a 1911 is a car, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
/ truck.
Messing around.
Yep. So you're designed
okay,
to be,
so that's your safety,
that's
and I push that down when I fire.
You push it down ready to fire. But you don't ever want to carry this with the round in the chamber with the hammer down. This gun is not like a 1911 where a half cock, the gun won't fire. If your gun's in half cock, even with the safety on, you pull the trigger, the hammer will fall. And so right now the hammer's sitting on top of your firing pin. If that gets bumped, you could have this gun go off. So if you're going to carry this gun, either carry with no magazine inserted, no round in the chamber, or round in the chamber, thumb safety on.
Are there other female shooters that have bought that, and are they happy with it?
Yes, most definitely. This is
customers that you've sold this to?
This is probably, besides like the really small little 380s, which aren't fun to shoot, like the LCP and stuff like that, this is probably our best-selling 380 out there. So it's a little bit of a learning curve, the manual of arms of a...
Do you think I can get it?
Style. Definitely.
I scored 30 on my ACTs, so I'm just laying that out there for you.
ACTs or ASVAB?
ACTs. ASVAB, I didn't score high enough. Okay. All right, any others? Let's move it along.
Yeah, I mean, you got a
plethora 938
of 938s and 238s. I mean, they do every color under the sun there. I really like the new MMP bodyguards a lot. This is just, trigger pull's not the greatest.
Take a look at it
on them, but what I do like about them versus the old bodyguards is that there's no laser. Lasers is a good training tool.
Those burn your eyeballs out, right?
They do. But I don't really care for the laser for much myself. I like the newer serrations that they're putting on there. They're using a stainless steel barrel, stainless steel slide on these now. So it's just a little bit better, more rugged of a gun. Sights are a lot better than, say, what an LCP and stuff would have on there, too.
Okay, these are good guns you're showing me. My price range is going to be around $500. I want to go over that.
That's fine.
And I want something really simple that I can just pull out and not have to worry about safety because I think I'd mess it up. Which one should I buy?
With that, you've got your revolvers here again, 430. But right now, like I was talking about, guns and so saturated, there's a lot of guns that are on sale. Where they are, right there. So standard model 642, 637s, 442, 638s. They're all on sale for $395. So what is that? About $35.
I'm gonna buy that one from you today.
Excellent.
Out of roll.
But then you got the Rugers too. There's my sales flyer. Again, showing you. I mean, look at the sales flyers here. This thing's all Smith & Wesson. This thing is all Ruger.
Great sales.
So
okay, this is me talking now. I'm not playing the role anymore. I loved your choices. The LCR is just an awesome choice. Has such a great trigger. 5 rounds. What you said about you better hit what you're not going to do a reload. I think that's absolutely realistic, especially for an inexperienced handgun user. You're not going to reload.
That's a very complex reload, especially. I don't know if you've ever covered this, but if you look straight down at the rounds here, you'll notice your grip on every single one of them hits it. So if you try rocking a speed loader on that guy, your rounds aren't going to be perfectly going in. You have to kind of do it in, Yeah, you can.
I've done it with HKS, but the clearance is tight.
It's very tight, so that's why you have to practice. No matter what gun you get, it's all about practice. Sit in front of your TV and shoot bad guys while you're sitting there practicing with dummy rounds and stuff like that.
Great choice too. I love the airweight, the Smiths. Caliber selection, I think you steered her in the right direction. 380s, 38 special. They didn't throw any 9s on the counter. Why? And would you?
Yeah, I definitely would.
Because I think the Shield is valid. I think the XDS is valid. The PPS is valid if she can deal with the battery of arms.
Yep. A little bit.
And
bigger.
apparently her boyfriend's an expert.
Subject matter expert. You can get everything you ever need from YouTube and the internet.
Oh yeah, it's quality information. That's all there is there on the internet. Okay, next scenario. Great job, Brian. I am a somewhat experienced gun user. I'm looking for an AR-15. My price range is $1,000. Show me.
You want to do the AR right now, or you want to do it a little bit later? Because AR section's kind of.
Just go grab it and carry it down here.
Okay, cool.
So, and I'll just keep it rolling.
Okay.
So, show me, give me your top 5 picks. You want me to help you carry them?
I'll bring them over one at a time. I'll bring
Okay,
over
top 5 picks. And I want some awesome, accurate. My max range probably 600 yards on this particular buy. $1,000 under.
Okay, cool.
Here we go. And then with each of these choices, tell me why they're awesome.
Okay, got to start it off with the sport. Excellent rifle. These guys right now, they're on sale for $580. I think that's one of the best buys for any gun right now. Still wish they did the better barrels that are on there, the 1 and 8 5R twist. They're just doing a 1 and 9 conventional 6 twist rifling on here. But still an excellent rifle. The reason why I bring this one out first is that this guy gives you the option of upgrading it later to exactly what you want. Some other guys I might have over there might be $700, $800, $900 or so, but then you're kind of stuck until you can have more money come up. Versus with this guy, you could buy him, and then later on you can sit there and say, I want to switch out the handguard to Troy or to someone else's handguard. I want to switch out the trigger. I want to do this and that. And with that price tag of $580, it lets you do that.
Gives you
that
headroom.
option for that. I've had guys who wanted a similar rifle from a different brand that have, say, Magpul furniture all over it, but it was a little out of their price range. I've sold them this gun with Magpul furniture and a couple hundred rounds of ammo for under the price of that other gun, and they're out shooting that day. Versus,
now, I was on YouTube, and some YouTube dude who will remain nameless said, if you don't buy an AR-15 with an injection port cover, you're an idiot. What do you think?
You know, it used to have its, time and place on there.
They said that it has to be mil-spec, otherwise it's garbage. And that's mil-spec. And I also read it on a forum somewhere, so it's got to be true.
The only technically mil-spec rifles out there are Colt. They're the only company who has the TDP, the technical data package of
write that down.
ARs, all right, of the M16 rifle. Everything
but this
else,
gun doesn't have an injection port cover.
No.
Is it going to get filled with dirt and stuff? And
no.
Again, guys, I'm in roll.
Yeah.
Is it going to get filled with dirt and I
Because
have
here's the
to
thing
worry
with
about
your
it?
ejection port covers. They only work when they're closed and the gun's not being shot. As soon as you shoot that first round, the ejection port opens up anyways, all right? And then what does it do for you? You can only close it after that point there. So even with an ejection port cover, say you drop your rifle in mud or something, or water, yes, your gun's still going to be fine. If it has the ejection port cover closed, and it's left closed, and you let it sit there and sit in mud or water, for the most part, stuff's still going to seep inside there. It's going to get inside your chamber, and you're going to be screwed anyways, even having ejection port.
Okay, I'll have to think about what you're telling me, but that guy also said I better get a rifle-length gas system, otherwise I'm an ass.
If you have a 20-inch barrel, yes, get a rifle-length gas system.
He says it's a lot more reliable.
On a 20-inch or an 18-inch...
I'm kidding around, guys, but it gives us an opportunity to talk about some features.
20-inch rifles, you want to definitely...
As big as it will go.
you want a rifle-length gas system.
But does he think you're a star now or something?
Something like that.
What?
18-inch...
There's going to be like 30 people watch this.
Not very many, I know.
No.
18-inch guns with a rifle-length gas system.
Okay.
If you're at the right elevation or shooting the right ammo, you can get away with an 18-inch gun with a rifle-length gas system. It's very soft. I had a barrel.
And this is what size?
This is a 16 with a carbine.
And it works fine. It won't wear out on me.
It will have a little bit extra gas. flowing through here. It does have a little bit more dwell time. That's the time from when the bullet passes your gas port in the barrel till it exits. So because it has a little extra dwell time, a little bit more gas is getting through your system here and pushing it back on your bolt. So it's going to be a little bit dirtier. You're going to feel a little bit more of a recoil impulse because of it. But because of that, it's also just a touch more reliable because it has more gas until it sits, that gas turns to carbon and builds up for a longer amount of time. I generally like, if I'm talking 16-inch guns, I generally like to talk mid-lengths, just because it's a little bit cleaner, a little bit smoother, but not very many companies do a 16 in the mid-length. I mean, Smith & Wesson, Rock River.
Could I get something like that for under $1,000?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll jump right into that for the next one then.
Hit it. I like that gun though.
It's a nice trigger that's all made. Next one.
I'm still in roll for now.
Okay, since I talked about Rock River, come the next thing. Their kind of basic model here. 8.5 is the price. Okay, you're getting a couple more upgrades. 16-inch barrel here. That's mid-length gas system. So you got about an extra 2 inches on the gas length. So you're going to have a little bit less dwell time, but that's a good thing for a 16-inch barrel. The carby length gas system works excellent for generally barrels from about 11.5 to 14.5 inches. 16s work fine. Obviously, most guns run it that way, but it's not the optimum. The mid-length is, in my opinion, the optimum gas length for.
Agreed. Excuse me.
Okay.
Excuse me.
One thing that's cool with Rock River, since you're talking about shooting out there a little bit farther, is that they generally run a little bit heavier barrel. I mean, that's a pretty meaty barrel underneath the handguard there. That's going to translate into really, really good accuracy for you. This is just a two-piece handguard with a delta ring on there, so it's not going to get the most accuracy that you're going to get out of this gun, but it'll definitely be a lot better than a really light government weight barrel too.
Is that the same barrel profile they shoot in Modern Warfare 4?
Wouldn't know.
So it comes out long again.
I only play Battlefield, all right? Gosh.
Okay, so that's $850. And did I read something that has a match trigger on
Yes.
it? Is it worth having versus the standard trigger like in this sport?
Cool thing with the two-stage triggers on here, all right, is that you have your take-up on your first stage. So you can kind of prep your trigger like a good double action trigger on a revolver. Mm-hmm. You can pull the trigger, all right, and once you have that, that first couple pounds taken up, all I have to do is put another couple pounds of pressure on that, and it's a nice clean break. So you could be on the target with your scope going on there with your reticle, and wait until you get that right where you need to being prepped, and then you can break the trigger right where you want it. And you can call the shot a lot better that way.
And that's a lighter weight trigger than this one?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
This one breaks in at about, every trigger's a little bit differently. This one breaks in roughly about 4.5 pounds. A mil-spec type trigger, how Colt deems their triggers, they can break anywhere from, like 5.5 to 9 pounds, and that's perfectly fine. As long as it pulls anywhere between that weight, that passes Colt's test, and it's fine. So 9-pound gritty trigger pull is kind of hard to shoot accurately with it.
Is it any more reliable or less reliable, this match trigger, still than roll?
Yes, it will be just a touch more unreliable, because generally how they do that, some companies that will be more reliable. On a standard trigger like this from Rock River, is that they use a little bit lighter hammer springs on there, so your gun gets a little bit dirty. If it has extra kind of gunk in the bolt carrier group and stuff like that, you pull that trigger, that firing pin's not going to be going forward with that same speed. If you're shooting really hard military primers, it may not set off that primer all the way.
Okay.
You have to find that a lot with your aftermarket triggers. If you're running a single stage trigger from several companies out there, just watch out for that. Your gun gets dirty, it may not run. Now, that kind of talks about Geisley triggers. Excellent trigger. People call them Giselle, whatever. It's actually pronounced Geisley. They use extra powered hammer springs in there. Actually, or are they just mil-spec hammer springs? Can't remember right now. But they use really good hammer springs. All they do is they just have the right angles done on the sear engagements of the trigger and the hammer. That way you can still get a really nice lightweight trigger pull, but your firing pin and hammer hitting with the right speed. So if you're looking at a good match trigger, something like that, you're going out shooting, the Rock Rivers are excellent for that. We sell lots of guns with them. We sell lots of triggers with this trigger system in there. So if you buy something like this, you can always upgrade it to that trigger later on, all right? But, you know, their trigger's only $100. You look at Geisley's, they started at like 160, going all the way up to $250 for just their standard triggers, and that's not even counting their high-speed national match triggers.
Cool.
But yeah, so that's
So two good AR-15 options. Anything else?
Yep.
Top 5.
Let's grab another one.
Top 5. How about that one?
Okay.
I really like this one. I like it so much, I had 2 of them. All right, this one here is a special edition from Smith & Wesson. It's co-branded with Magpul. Price tag says $1,100, but we have them on sale right now for $950. So it's pretty good.
Under my price. That's
Yep,
cool.
so it's under your
I like
price.
this color.
So they do it in both the flat dark earth.
I watched
and
this guy on YouTube. Is whatever his name is, and he says FDE rocks.
Most of my guns are FDE, so I will agree to that.
All right.
All right.
You got that right, I guess.
Yep. So, so they got the Magpul MOE buttstock, pistol grip, and the mid-length handguard on here. Gas system's also mid-length.
Awesome.
On this guy. Barrel length is the 1 8 5R rifling, so that's good. And this is actually 4150 chrome moly steel, which is the
Chrome lined?
no, it's not, because it's melanited. Same with this guy.
Right.
So
True that.
melaniting gives you the benefits of chrome lining without some of the negative aspects of it. So yeah, and it's light because they do a slightly lighter profile. It's not as light as like a pencil weight contour, but this is more of a good kind of duty carbine. I know who was it? Some Arizona Police Department, I want to say Maricopa County, bought like 200-300 of these things as their new patrol rifles. It makes a very good patrol rifle. It's light, but it's, you know, it's got everything that it needs. For
And it comes with these sights too?
Comes with
The
the
end
Magpul
bus?
sights. Yep.
Nice.
Cool about it, these Smith & Wesson on some of their lowers, even though they're just forged, is they actually have a forged-in trigger guard. So you don't have the weakness of the ears that you have with other standard forged lowers.
Already enlarged too.
Already enlarged, so that's pretty handy there. This one just has the Magpul markings on there, which is kind of cool. A little bit fancier as far as the finger shelves go. But yeah, one thing to note about Smith & Wesson is even though that they use just standard mil-spec triggers, there's probably the nicest mil-spec triggers on the market as far as how the brakes go on them. You do have, like with this guy, you can see I'm not even touching it. There's really no creep. There's nothing on it. I can grab
Nice.
just for comparison's sake here. Don't let the bolt back. I'll grab a Colt trigger, all right? You'll notice with this guy, not pushing it at all. Kind of brake, kind of somewhere in there. It breaks. It's gritty.
Take up.
It's a lot of take up. It's
Uncertain
not a clean brake. But these guys, for whatever reason, on all their models, they can put in a really nice, clean braking mil-spec trigger.
Nice.
So it's not.
I like that
It's
gun.
not hard to shoot these accurately because of that. You can
like that
shoot a
gun.
heavy trigger accurately as long as it has a good, clean brake.
One more option, Big B.
Cover the Sig. This is the M400 from Sig. Right now, $980. Right now we have $100 off these rifles in the store, so you're at $880. Plus, like we mentioned earlier, a $100 cash back rebate. So you get it for $880 with sales tax. Then you get another $100 off the top of that for a really good rifle. Kind of some of the points on this guy here. Carbon length gas system, kind of a disappointment. It's still a good rifle. They get rid of the standard R4 barrel profile. They have a little cutout for their grenade launcher. They just turn it down all the way towards the front sight post there. But they're rocking a 1-in-7 twist, so it's a little bit more of the mil-spec twist that's out there. Chrome lined barrels. Thing that's cool, some people like about this rifle is that they have the integrated QD built into the lower here. I don't really care for the QD much myself, the slings. Some people do. The thing I don't like about this is that if you want to switch out the sling plate later, say you want to get like a Magpul ASAP, something that hangs over the side of the receiver won't work because that's in the way. So just got to know before you buy something that's a little bit proprietary like this guy,
Yeah,
is
it's
that
light too.
some of the things are gonna, get hit there. They extend the bolt catch, your ping pong paddle a little bit more, and they give you an ambi mag release on the side, so it's kind of set up for lefties. The safety is just on the left-hand side, but I believe that this also has detents on the left-hand side of the safety, so you can pull the safety out, turn it around, and have a safety on the right-hand side.
So it's reversible.
I'm pretty sure. I know Colts do that. I'm pretty sure Sig does it as well.
What's the twist on that again?
1.7 chrome lined.
Chrome line.
Yep.
Sick.
But yeah, so kind of different style looks as far as the lower goes. Every company kind of does it a little bit differently. I wonder if this has it. No. Some of the new ones are actually, they're engraving on the side Sig M400. So they're even engraving their upper as well as the lower too. So kind of cool.
You're showing me, I'm still in roll here, kind of. You're showing me all these AR-15s. I think they're awesome. Do I have to stick to an AR-15, or are there other good 5.56 options that would work, that are as reliable and as versatile? Out of roll. Don't tell him what he wants to hear. Tell him the truth.
I'm going to say no, especially not to the $1,000 mark. There's definitely, the SCAR systems are excellent. Minus the reciprocating charging handle, don't really care for that as much. Problem I have with the SCARs is that they're just a lot of plastic for a $2,500 gun. I don't see why that gun costs so much to build when the lower receiver is all plastic. The buttstock's really chintzy, hollow, plasticky. I mean, I don't mold, polymer by any means, but I just don't see it myself why that one costs so much.
What about Kel-Tec?
Kel-Tecs?
I heard they're hit and miss. Sometimes they're awesome, sometimes they're not.
I've had RFBs. It's been years since I've seen an RFB in the 308. We've had them. We had customers like them. We had one guy who bought one, blew up on him right next to his ear. And since it's a bullpup, all the action's right here. To this day, he still has hard of hearing right here.
What?
Because of it, because the gun blew up.
What?
Mm-hmm. What?
How about the Sub 2000? That's chamber for 308, right? In roll. How about the SU16?
Don't have a lot of feedback on them. We got people who they watch this video of this guy who loves Kel-Tecs for whatever reason.
That guy's a goof.
And we got people who look at them, and stuff like that. But I don't know.
There's not that many around, are there?
So you don't have a good enough sample size to sit there and say, is this gun going to be a viable option? Sure, it might be for someone who just weekend shoots plinks and stuff like that. But for a gun that you might have to put your life on the line for, I'm going to say no.
Most guys buy them and put them under their bed. Same with these guns. I'm going to come out of roll now. Not that I said that much, because this customer that I was saying was not a doofus. He's kind of knowledgeable. He's just getting an AR-15. Every gun you throw on the counter, let's go back over here. I loved every gun. Hey, look, there's Tim here.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dad.
Thanks for just having a good time.
Back down here, I was bugging him. I said, call him up. You were in California.
That's right.
He says, get him on down here. He needs to make another video.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for your
Thank
work,
you for
man.
saying hi. You're welcome. Everything you showed was awesome. Everything. I mean, you're hitting it all. The sport, dude, thumbs up, man. For the price, you ain't going to touch it. And like you said, you have so much headroom for the accessories.
I've had a guy.
I was just messing around with the mil spec. Some guys get wrapped around the axle about that. I've talked about it in my vids.
Yeah, if they want to get wrapped around the axle, that's
Let
fine.
them wrap.
Yep. No kidding. Buy Colt then. That's all you need to touch.
Come down here.
The thing, I had a guy who had to have that, but he loved the sport, so he bought a completed upper receiver with the Ford Assist dust cover. I took the old barrel off, I put the new barrel on the new upper, so he had a sport with the Ford Assist dust cover, and he was still like under $700.
Cool.
So,
and that's what turns him on. I say rock your world,
and I think he ended up selling the upper for like $120 some odd because someone out there wanted this upper. So he still, once he sold that and made his money back, he was still sitting pretty. So there's options. There's, nothing says if you have some AR working tools, you could buy a, upper with the Ford Assist and dust cover and switch it out.
It makes me sad the 5Rs they're not the vendor crumped on them or whatever. Still a good gun. The melanite coating's there. It's a different twist. I like the 1-7, 1-8 for the obvious reasons. Great choice though. This Rock River, you have headroom with that. $850 you're selling that for?
Definitely.
I mean, guys are probably gonna dump that. They're gonna dump that. And if they get money.
This is their new A2. I hate A2 pistol grips.
I do too. I'm not a fan.
I hate this.
I don't like the nub on it.
This was supposed to fit like the 95th percentile of soldiers out there when the Picatinny Arsenal was first doing this. Lieutenant Colonel Glutz, I think was his last name, was building this, and I just hate it. Like when I hold on to
Your
it,
sixth finger gets in the way,
it just
doesn't
gets
it?
in the way. I don't like it. I love the smooth A1 style that the Magpul
Absolutely.
does. So, but the cool thing with this is it's kind of an upgrade. It's rubber overmolded. They throw that in their
Didn't know that.
price. So even
the
though it's,
rubber grips, though, they just grab on all the tactical gear. They're always getting hung up.
I just run.
I have a hard time. The Hogue I ran for years, they're that way. They're great grips when you got them in action, but man, they're always grabby.
I run the Myad grips
That's
on all
what I
my
like.
rifles just because I want a bigger. I got pretty big hands. I want a longer grip so I can put my trigger finger in the proper spot without an A1. So that's why I do that.
Word.
But yeah.
I love the mid-length gas system. Great job showing them the thicker barrel. You know, and you know me how I am. I'm a big fan of thicker barrel as long as it's not outlandish and adds a lot of weight.
Exactly.
But it gives me, like you said, accuracy. It gives me maybe sustained fire capability. Not to say that the lighter weight barrels can't do it. They can and have for years in the M4 system, and they're rocking mag after mag after mag. But it's physics. Enough said. We've talked about this. It would be, and this is awesome. This Magpul. What's your price on this?
It's normally 11, but they are on sale. You know, $9.50. Both the
that's a
black
good deal.
and the flat darker.
This does not need to be changed out. This definitely doesn't. This doesn't either. I have one of these on a gun right now, and it's excellent. It's excellent. What flash hider is that? Just
This is their new
proprietary?
proprietary one that they're doing. So it's flash hider, really, really long. So it works pretty well. Plus it has the holes on the front too. So it's kind of a mix between a flash hider and a compensator.
Interesting. I missed that.
So-
16-inch barrel, dude.
16-inch barrel.
So that's a mid-length 16-inch
Yep.
barrel for $950 with MOE furniture.
MOE furniture.
And a Magpul.
Magpul
stamped
special lower. You can only
receiver.
get this lower on this gun, and the better barrel too. The 1-in-8 5R barrel as well. That's another. value
Yeah,
added.
right. And then you showed us what was the other one? The Sig.
The Sig M400.
That's a great gun.
Yep.
So all wins, dude. I mean, we're at freaking. I don't even have to edit this. It's gonna be 48 minutes. We got to wrap it up. We were gonna do a bolt gun scenario, but maybe in later days.
Later date when we have more.
And then we'll do a BB gun scenario for defensive purposes, and then maybe paintball stuff.
paintball. Okay.
I'm kidding.
Slingshots last. Okay.
This is Gunnies and Orem. You have had some more interesting programming from our friend Bryan Hood. Selling across the counter. Great job, though. I mean, they should buy it from you. Nut Fancy Project. See ya.
30 bucks.